Welcome to the Gateway, broadcasting live from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. We are live on United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM New Orleans. I'm your host this evening, C.L. Thomas. Tonight we have a great guest. He's going to discuss ancient mysteries of the Ohio Valley, lost worlds, mounds, and cryptids. He's an author and historian, and he's also well known around our radio station. It's Mark Eddy. He's a historian, researcher, and author whose work explores the forgotten prehistoric legacy of the Ohio River Valley. And he's also happens to be a Feller Yinzer, so I can't wait to get him on here. But before we get into our topic, you've been listening to Into the Night with Sean Kelly, and I just got to say thank you, Sean Kelly, for talking me into keeping this radio station going, or the show going, I should say, not the station, this show, because I was going to pretty much can the show a few weeks ago in light of some things that in the paranormal world, but he convinced me to keep the show rolling, and I'm going to have all new topics and all new people. Like next week, I have, her name is Tracy Murphy, and she's the historian of Hydesville Park, which is the original location of where the Fox Sisters cottage was. And she was actually the keeper of the Fox Sisters cottage until it burned down in Lilydale. So she's going to come on next week, and we're going to discuss the legends and history of the Fox Sisters and spiritualism. So that's going to be a really interesting show too. It's currently 63 degrees here in the Mojave. There is a strange report in the valley recently that residents near Lake Mead have reported hearing mysteries and thunderous sounds echoing through the canyons. And it's been causing some speculation among locals. Some concern is going on. The sounds are described as a deep metallic groaning. Like, the only way I could describe that as is like some kind of machinery. They were reported by probably around 50 residents, or so it says, residents and campers near Redstone Picnic Area, a popular camping spot close to Las Vegas. It's like in between Las Vegas and Hoover Dam. The sounds have been compared to construction equipment, but no definitive source has been identified. And this isn't the first time that strange sounds have been reported from that area. Also, at the beginning of the year, there were reports claiming of hearing wailing, like a woman wailing. And people have heard unexplained footsteps and things. They're saying that whole area over there might be haunted, that campsite. So yeah, I'm going to go check it out. I have some time off coming up in the next few weeks. I plan on going to check that area out. But the theories about the sounds range from geological shifts to secret government projects, and some are even reporting it as something going on with Area 51. So more on that, stay tuned. I just got back from the DC area this week, and it's been my last work trip for the year. So we finally wrapped up, and I am going to Wyoming, but it's to visit friends and family. It's not work. It's always kind of like a sad time for me, but it's happy too, because I get to stay home and work on those things that I don't get to, like painting and writing. And so hanging out with my cat, he's going to be happy. So Thanksgiving is Thursday, and I still think it's Halloween. I'm just not ready yet. I don't have anything in the fridge. I'm not cooking anything. My friends are cooking. I'm heading out tomorrow to Wyoming, and what we normally do, for those in the chat, what do you guys do for Thanksgiving? For me, we usually do outdoor cooking. It's kind of fun. So we do a traditional outdoor cooking from like 19th, 18th century. So I'm not sure what we're cooking this year, but we're going to do that again out in the middle of Wyoming in a little remote town. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Well, tonight's guest, author and historian Mark Eddy, brings his research to the table for discussion about ancient mysteries of the Ohio Valley, lost worlds, mounds, and cryptids. And I think Loki's going to join the conversation as well. But let me get Mark on here. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hi, CL.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on.
I'm thankful on this Thanksgiving week for this opportunity.
I'm thankful for my cat here.
I don't,
He's like
I
a
don't
sweet
blame you.
cat. I've never had a cat quite like this one. He's just so lovable and
Seems very friendly.
up. I can squish on him, I can kiss him, and he just takes it. I've never had a cat quite like this before, where he just, I can flip him around and do all kinds of things. I put clothes on him sometimes, dress him up, just all sorts of things. It's kind of fun.
Now the viewers are getting a good look.
But Mark, you wrote this book, and I'm going to put it up here: Lakes,
Yeah.
Lizards, Linton and Leverett.
Hmm.
So we're going to talk a lot from this book, correct? Tonight.
Yeah, yeah. If you that's why you invited me on. If you want to talk about other stuff, we can do that too.
Well, I have my list of questions here,
Okay.
and you're a fellow Yinzer,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, we. Uh, I I think you, you would probably have a really good connection with this book. You've probably been to some of these um, places, or at least driven by them. So, what is it about Yinzerland that maybe we're familiar with, but um, a lot of people outside the area don't know about it, and that was how the book got started.
So to start us off, how did you get into writing this book, and when did you start to feel that Ohio Valley's Agent Pass might hold secrets that go beyond the traditional archaeology?
Okay. What I There was a college professor friend of mine who, uh, you know, she knew I lived in, um, the Wheeling area, and um, she asked me to, um, go to some of the local museums and help her to, uh, here, give me a sample. There's Dr. Clausen's book, and towards the back, she has all these charts about what's filled out, what we know of certain river valleys and east of the Mississippi River. But when we get to like the our area, they're basically blanks. Not much is. We know there's some kind of like shell mound there, but what are the traits that were found within the mound? Is it similar to contemporary mounds? Um, it just hasn't been really reported on. So that was where she asked me, what, see if you can go to some of the museums and see if there's like some new publications. You know, she hasn't been able to find them. So that was how it started. And it's like, oh wow, it's opportunity to work with a well-respected college anthropology professor, and is as she was helping me with the rough drafts. She said, okay, some of the cultural traits you're getting into could be amplified if you go farther back in time to like the Ice Age and see if there's we could make like a chronological view of all this, uh, you just say a if there's any burials that have recently been documented. Is there a similarity between like a ice age burial and what she wrote about in that book? So I was like, oh, okay, sounds interesting. I'll get started on that. So, uh, uh, when I was researching, what we knew of uh, the area being downstream from the melting ice sheets, um, realized, maybe there's a little bit more of a geological explanation for why there were so many, like the megafauna uh, documented, like 200 years ago. Did you did you know about that?
I did not.
Yeah, it's like most people don't. And it's like, oh wow, okay, like the Big Bone State Lick or Big Bone Lick State Park is well known in the Ohio Valley, but uh, what about where we grew up?
The Pittsburgh
And
area?
in what?
The Pittsburgh area?
Yeah. So is there an explanation of going back even farther? So that's once I started looking at some of the geology, it, uh, and some of the people who pioneered the you know uh, like borings uh, throughout the area, what they were finding, did that have something to do with why there were critters, these critters in the area? So that the the lakes Linton uh, and Leverett, uh, Lakes Lizards, Linton and Leverett book became, uh, you know, a study in laying the groundwork for parts 2 and 3 that I'm working on now.
So there's
And
going to be additional
yeah,
volumes of this thing
yeah,
coming out.
and it's going to be um, more about the Ice Age, kind of taking a look at what the our area was like as the ice sheets were melting. We were not glaciated, but how did that affect us? So that um, it's been very interesting.
It
So
sounds
that
really interesting.
yeah.
Just in the Three Rivers area, particularly, just I'm curious because I grew up there too.
Mhm.
What have they found anything there that could cross over into paranormal in their research?
I don't. I Can you say Mothman evolved out of any of these lizard-like critters that were found, or that were thriving, like 250 million years ago? I don't know.
It's
Uh,
kind of it's an interesting.
yeah, it is interesting. Have some of the uh, unusual fish that have been depicted in petroglyphs or recorded as a marine, aquatic cryptid in the river. Um, could those be a remnant of some of these lizards from 200 some million years ago? Could be. Uh,
Hmm.
and we know that there were the like sailback lizard. They were like 10 feet long, and they kind of look like an iguana with like a blue marlin sail on its back. They were quite a few of them have been documented uh, as fossils found throughout the Ohio River Valley.
That's
What?
interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, there. I think there was like an 1870s report of um, s- uh, some large aquatic creature in the river near Parkersburg. I don't know um, what could that have been. I don't think it's recorded as having sails, but you do get those like bill. It's kind of like a duck bill on a carp.
Hmm. I've
Uh,
never
I
even
think
heard
they're
of
called
that.
paddlefish. They're still in the river. What but they uh, have been called a prehistoric fish. So is is that an example of something that never has been around for a long time but never went extinct?
I don't know. So that whole area up there, the Western PA area, and it goes
Hmm.
all the way over, it seems like, into Ohio. That's the area we're talking about tonight. Um, there is a lot of things going on. You have the Mothman, you have all of the Native American sites all around there,
The,
such as
the
Serpent
mounds.
Mounds. Hmm.
Hmm.
Do any of these things all have stuff in common?
Um, oh, I don't know. Some are burial mounds placed to honor the dead. Um, I, we were you do get some of the effigy mounds. They have been uh, located across the country. I think is it Iowa? Eastern Iowa has um, um, a bunch of effigies. It's either there or Wisconsin. Um, but what was the cultural significance of you know replicating animals i- out of uh, mounded earth? I don't really know. It
Hmm.
had it had a it had a purpose. I mean, you get the same thing with the petroglyphs. The artists were uh, depicting what they saw. Pretty accurate depictions of turkeys, bears, wolves. So it's different mediums, but they're doing the same thing. They served served a cultural purpose.
Is there anything energetic about the land itself?
I don't know. I find it up to be uplifting. Um, John Keel wrote about were the um, mounds located on ley lines. And that's in the Mothman prophecies. Um, I don't. He said something like he could trace where a few were located. He thought they were on ley lines, and then there's been, the, you know, you're well aware of the industrialization and train tracks and
Yeah.
just modern building that's damaged or precise knowledge of where the mounds were located, and he couldn't follow them for very far. But that could be some kind of energy uh, source, and you do have that um, in the line. Was it the St. Michael line that goes across Cornwall through? I think it's the Avebury Stone Circle in England.
So does that mean, is it fair to say that the Native American culture could have been drawing some kind of energy from that area?
It seems like if the mounds were deliberately placed on the ley lines,
Can-
does it seem like ancient people could feel that more than we do today?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you know. Like I said, we were talking about with the uh, say the Serpent Mound.
Hmm.
I've walked all around a lot of those places, and I, I really enjoy being there. I don't really get you know an electrified feel. Some I don't really feel a change emanating from the ground. Does that mean I'm too used to sitting in front of the computer, um, looking for, I guess, for Joe's network? I don't know. Should we blame Joe for that?
You can absolutely blame Joe for everything.
Okay, he's gonna pull a plug on us.
Probably.
But
It's all right.
but I don't really uh maybe some of today's people might be more apt to feel something. I don't. No, I just enjoy um being at these locations. Just a lot of fun. I enjoy um um being near um the water sources as well. And it's do want to show you, you can find the remnants of what I'm writing about. Like here is a fern.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that. So it's, you,
What kind of rock is that? Like a sandstone?
it's more like I think it's more of a shale.
Like a
It's not.
slate?
It's not quite. Something like that. It's like a sedimentary rock.
Now, I remember as a girl, I used to always find, um, I found quite a bit of fossils up and down creeks, and back then we used to call them cricks,
Hmm.
in the cricks. Only those that know Pittsburghese would know what I mean by that.
Hmm.
But tell me about, because we had in your notes about the Monongahela
Hmm.
and the shifting agent landscape sound like
Yeah.
something out of a lost world.
The it was uh interesting getting into this project, and we still know that um the Monongahela River flows north. When and did a show with Sean. It wasn't as exciting as his turkey tips that he was giving just in the last hour, but when the Goodyear blimp was flying over Three Rivers Stadium, and Howard Cosell was talking about, well, the river coming up from the bottom of your screen is the Monongahela, and the one
Mm. Which one is
coming.
the dirty one? Because I know when you stand right, and I've done this, I've stood right on the tip there where Three Rivers is, and you can see the line where I think it's the Ohio and the other one.
Going straight from the tip, towards the west is the Ohio, and the Allegheny comes down from the south, and the Monongahela is flowing north. The Ohio River was also flowing north before way back in time, and most rivers in the area were also flowing north and draining into what's now Lake Erie. And when the ice sheets were coming across the Great Lakes into Ohio, well, okay, you have the rivers flowing north, so everything gets they're running into a dam, so all the water coming up from the south just starts backing up, and where you and I were growing up, basically kept filling up with water, and where our homes were located were probably submerged in
Wow.
quite a few feet of water, and like one of the prompts was from
Has these changes inspired the native legends and supernatural lore or cryptid sightings, you think?
there we gee, I kind of keep pulling it back. See here's the darker green is the ice sheet, and you can see where Lake Monongahela was located. There's a huge lake, and you get another one down here around Chillicothe, Ohio.
Hold on, I might have to lake. And this is an Agent Lake from
the dam broke at New Martinsville about 800,000 BC, and all the water started draining from a higher elevation, so it's eroding a channel to the south where it's lower elevation, and that's why the river reversed course from flowing north to south. So
there it is.
yep, that's it. So you can see Pittsburgh is what kind of in the just across the Ohio Pennsylvania border, that would have been underwater. And that's after, the ice sheet. You can see that, little, uh, kind of like a semicircle there at the top of the screen. That's where the ice sheet stopped. You can see where all the rivers just backed up and created a massive lake. So uh, did I've wondered, w- with some of the mounds being located where some of the researchers, the 19th century researchers were finding fossils. Did they incorporate them into the burials? I don't know. So some of the mounds were uh, destroyed before, you know, the state, required uh, notes to be submitted to the state. So were fossil, weird fossils buried with people? I don't know.
Hmm. Do you think that accounts, though, for some of the strange activity that's going on now in that area?
I don't know. Um, there are, um, there's a son. What's the pig lady near Cannleton? There's a sign along the road. Um,
Hold on, I'm going to post this photo because it shows kind of like where a lot of the mounds were. Hold on a second. Just so the audience can see what we're talking about, all these mounds that are in this area around this old lake. Just found a quick
yeah,
picture of it.
yeah. You can see, you know, all almost all those would have been bu- built on, land that was submerged by the lake. Um, yeah, were they aware of fossils? Yeah, they probably did, because they were very uh, selective in the um, rocks that they were finding along the riverbanks. That were washed down from, uh, like the Jasper quarries that got incorporated into the ice sheets. Once they melted, and flooding washed stuff downstream. The uh, archaic people and later cultures were very selective in the rocks that they were going to use for the different purposes. So they under understood. Um, I think they understood, that there was another time before their arrival. Such a, why were most of the homes that we know of um, built on higher elevations? Did they know how capricious the river could be did they know? Did they figure out the extent of Lake Monongahela? It was that like an early version of hydrodynamics.
Hmm.
But they were very cognizant of uh, the rocks that had washed into uh, certain areas, and they have been found at some of the um, you know, the few village or ceremonial sites that have been documented in the area. It's really a fascinating study, and Jasper is one. It's kind of about one quarry is located in the Penn State area.
I didn't even know that there was jasper up around that area.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, I did. I found a picture of the Serpent Mound, and I want to show the audience this as well because it's one of my
Hmm.
favorite photos of the site. Look how
Yeah.
incredible this is.
Hmm. It's like a quarter of a mile long,
Hmm. How
and
do you think they had undertaken this feat, the Native Americans, to do this, and what was their purpose? You think?
so in the coils, that is, there are the uh, equinox and solstice alignments. So the uh, our, I think the Hopewell built it. There might, I think there was, a little bit of all the cultures were at that site, but uh, it might be more attributed to the Hopewell culture. Uh, but there's just a lot of precise engineering at that location. You get the octagon mound in Newark that you get uh, it's people laying out where the moon's going to rise at different times of,
How
of the
did they
year.
know all of this stuff? Do you think that some other entity?
They were just very observant people. But I don't know if there's really like there could be an interpretation of uh, ET training, but they were uh, maybe just really smart people. And like I was saying about the Newark earthworks, uh, they're the sides are over 1,000 feet um, apart. The sides are over 1,000 feet apart. Um, the sides are perfectly straight. It's like you wonder how they like they're only off like the south end is only like an eighth of an inch different than the north end of a wall. Yeah, they don't have laser transits to lay this kind of stuff out. So they were very accurate, very skilled engineers. Um, I don't I, I don't know. I just like to give them the credit uh, for figuring that out. But like the Serpent Mound is another example of just unique engineering.
I just wonder how they would have pulled that off, because it's not like they had anything. Like when you look at the photo, let me put that back on stage here.
Mhm.
We're looking at this from a sky, from the sky to see this
Mhm.
whole perspective. They didn't have that. So how were they able to figure out that it would look just like this? You know,
They knew the land very well. Yeah, I just think that you can see on the upper part of the Serpent Mound, uh, the sun is coming or setting. I think that's the west side. The sun would be setting on that side. Um, it, you know, you, you can see where it could have all the different say winter solstice sunset from a certain coil. I forget which one it is. But earlier in the day, obviously the other the uh, shaded area would um, be highlighted then, and you can see which coil would be part of the summer solstice.
hmm. Did the serpent mean anything to them?
All different um, interpretations, renewing renewal.
Hmm.
I
As
try,
you
yeah, I try not to uh, be around snakes too much. It's not my.
well,
Uh,
I guess hanging out with the medical crowd, um, you're right. Snake does mean renewal and healing. So that's kind of what I equate it to, just from, how you see it on the staff.
hmm
It goes all the way back into Grecian times,
hmm
that idea.
And
So,
yeah, there's just I I think s- a lot of the academic researchers are uh, doing a nice job of uh, trying to get the information out there, put their take on it. Um, the museums are glad to display what's been found in the area. Um, I think I think they do a really nice job of uh, accommodating researchers who are showing an interest in what they have there. So uh, that was one of the really thrilling aspects of doing this project was uh, just uh, working with so many museums who felt like, yeah, we kind of are frequently overlooked, and please get this book out so that we can uh, get the word out about what's here in the Ohio Valley. And they were all these museums from Youngstown to Point Pleasant were very accommodating. Uh, really enjoyed working with them. It's very thankful uh, to them, and statement like that is, isn't necessarily related to Thanksgiving. It's that's just how I feel about them. But it is appropriate for tonight's show. But yeah, they were just really very outgoing. Was at the Grave Creek Mound.
Yeah, I did
Yep.
want to show the Grave Creek Mound real
Yep,
quick.
it's
Look how
kind of like down the street from me that way.
I mean, you just imagine these guys. They didn't have equipment or anything moving all of this dirt and forming this
Right.
cone.
Yep. It's like 69 feet high.
It's incredible.
There's only like three people buried in there.
Were these, do you think they were like kings?
Seems
Well,
like
I guess
it.
they didn't have kings, but chiefs?
Yeah. That's what it seems like. The shaman, you get some people buried with like wolf jaws around, maybe inserted in their mouths or put around their mouths. It seemed like it really distinguished them from some of the other people who were buried in the same mound. You do have, I think there's only 3 examples of people buried with copper noses.
Gotcha.
That's kind of interesting. It's like after they were dead, just did a nose amputation, and these copper noses were inserted. So what what did some of these animal connections symbolize to the community?
Well, Mark, we are all out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing.
I'm very appreciative of this opportunity, and work with you again and be on UPRN.
His book, Lakes, Lizards, and Linton and Leverett. Where can they buy this book? Is it on Amazon?
Yes.
So there you have it. Mark, thanks again, and I will definitely have you back on to discuss your future works once you get those out.
Hopefully it will be very soon.
But thank you so much.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You've been listening to The Gateway, broadcast from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks, live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM, New Orleans. My guest tonight was author and historian Mark Eddy, and the topic was Ancient Mysteries of the Ohio River, or Ohio Valley, Lost Worlds, Mounds, and Cryptids. Make sure you tune in next week. My guest is going to be Miss Murphy, and we're going to talk about the Fox sisters and spiritualism. So stay tuned for that. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you real soon.